So, do you know what today is?
Oh, yes, I do, actually. It's the day after your birthday.
Technically true. No, try again.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That
Actually,
wasn't what I was looking for.
okay. It is the day before Lisa's birthday.
Uh, Also true, and and the reason we're recording tonight, but also not what I was looking for.
Okay. All right, listen, given the fact that I that I can remember those two, I don't think I can come up with anything else.
Did so, did you know? Did you know that today is the 20th anniversary of the Tuck Rule game?
Of the what?
The Tuck Rule game.
Oh. Oh yeah. Wasn't that a contest on the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race?
I got nothing. Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, a weekly podcast with Dwayne Johnson and Todd Prince, where failure is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. I did to just real clear from the cold open. I want to give some writing credit for that one. Earlier tonight, yeah.
Do you?
No,
I mean,
well, not exactly. Not exactly. Earlier tonight, we were watching PTI, and they on ESPN, and they have list on the rundown, and you can see what they're going to talk about through the course of the show. And down at the bottom of the list, it just says Tuck Rule, and Lisa says, "Oh, are they covering Rue?" So, so Lisa wrote the joke. I just adapted it to a cold open. So she gets the award for original screenplay. I get it for the adapted screenplay. That's
best adaptation. There it is.
Yeah.
Nice. So credit to Lisa. That's great. Very nice. We have a full show tonight. Would be remiss if we did not thank Ward for appearing on last week's show with the Mega Power Frunk. That was fantastic. Really enjoyed that.
Yes, by the way, yes, thank you, Ward. Great conversation. I do want to point out on listening back, I took a note to share with you. While Mega Power Frunk was a great title, I would have also accepted All S, No Sandwich. Would have also been a strong contender for a title.
That's what Sarah sent me as well. Oh, that's fantastic. Yep, All S, No Sandwich. Let's see. Feedback from Greg and Sherry, toddlers 17 and 3187, respectively. Sherry wants pie on Ragbri as her prize for her toddler. That's right. We didn't do any feedback last week. We don't have any. This is feedback, a lot of feedback from the Toddies, from the 2021 Toddie Awards.
Yes.
And this was kind of weird. As of 2 weeks ago, I went and I logged into the podcast. Our all-time download number was 3187. And I'm like, wow. So I grabbed a screenshot and I sent it over to Sherry. Like, what? I don't know. Which then caused Sherry to increase her donation by 50%.
I mean, I'm thinking that's great. I'm also thinking Sarah probably hopefully will never see a screenshot of her number on our downloads. I'm not even sure how
Yeah,
a negative download
unfortunately.
works. That's people returning and putting additional files up. Anyway, yeah.
Let's see. Sherry also asked, God, I can't believe this. Sherry, you're killing me. Ask for more space content.
Yes. Yes. Cool. We can open up a whole segment. You betcha. Oh, by the way, Sherry,
Yes.
listen to the end because I have space content for this episode already. So it was already planned. By popular
That
demand, it has to stay.
Text from Doug of the Educated Idiots. The
The
best
award,
sponsor,
the,
Todd.
the award-winning
Sorry.
Educated Idiots.
Yes, good. Yes, thank you. Good save. The award-winning podcast, award-winning Educated Idiots. The best sponsor, Toddie, was quite the honor. They want to thank God, their agents, managers, and family. It's truly a special award, and they humbly plan to keep rocking dance floors at weddings, bar mitzvahs, funerals, or any event that you need to celebrate. Thank you. This thank you sponsored by DJ to Go Cedar Valley. Of course it
The
is.
the only thing that he missed in there was one other one. He said he should have included. We just plan to take it one event at a time. That we have a next DJ up mentality around here.
Well, it's interesting you say that because he also said that the communist handling of the best guest was both hilarious and BS. Pick a winner, force us to argue with the selection. No excuses, play like a champion, Mahatma Gandhi. Pretty sure that's who said that.
When
Gandhi.
he coached Notre Dame.
Yes, that's when it happened.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
yes.
I think he was the one that finally put Rudy in, right? Am I getting some of that wrong? Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
But no more wrong than the facts in American Underdog. Let's be honest here.
Everything I said was based on a true story.
Can't argue with that. So disappointed in that movie. I'm still so disappointed in that movie. Amy's a month behind. I've got nothing from Amy. How about Lisa? Did Lisa have any feedback from?
Yeah, she did. We were actually listening to it live, and this conversation happened as you were going through the close, and Lisa says out loud, "Is this ending getting longer? I mean, this is really starting to get." Oh, Amy's on it. So that was noticed by both at basically the same time.
Yep. Oh boy, we got a ton of follow-up too.
Okay.
Holy cow.
Yep.
I don't care. Should we start at the bottom and work up? We referenced the pre-recorded cold opens.
Yes.
We did, if you were wondering, we actually did 6 of them, starting with the A team. I actually wrote 7 of them, but we only did 6. We did not do, I wrote a Knight Rider cold open.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
But the music is terrible.
There's a lost cold open. Ooh. I wonder what a good time would be to play that. Yeah.
I wonder. Never? Maybe. Anyway, I have updated based on your feedback of Dewayne plays something, Todd reacts. I've now updated all of those so that they are now in the rundown collaboration document. So you can reference them. If anybody missed them, they were in episode 76 through 82. If you're curious, if you missed all of those. Particularly the Quantum Leap one, I was particularly proud of.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. Let's see. A couple of weeks ago, you had mentioned that Amy, I think, wanted to watch Yellowstone. she couldn't find. Am I remembering this correctly? She wanted to watch
Yes.
Yellowstone, and she couldn't find
Yes.
out any of the streaming services. So she eventually found that it was on Paramount, which is not available on Paramount Plus for
True.
reasons that make no sense. And so she eventually had to watch it on Hulu. And you were you were pointing out the absurdity that the Paramount that a show airing on the Paramount channel isn't on Paramount Plus. I have an answer for you as to why that is. I found out this week why that is, and it's even worse than you think. So
Of course it is.
I believe this is season 4 of Yellowstone, just came out.
Yeah.
When they started that show, it wasn't super popular. So, in order to get money to sort of make up for the fact that the show wasn't very popular, uh, Paramount Channel sold the streaming rights to Peacock. So, seasons 1 through 3 are streaming on Peacock, which is a direct competitor to Paramount Plus. When season 4 actually streams, it won't be on Paramount Plus. It will be on Peacock because they sold the rights to their own show to a different streaming service. I don't know if that makes them look better or worse, but it's not good.
Well, and it sounds kind of like when Marvel was hemorrhaging money, so they sold all their popular characters to other places,
Yeah,
and
but
then you get Iron Man and Ant-Man and things that aren't Fantastic Four and X-Men and Spider-Man, um, which then eventually become real characters. But in
but
the 90s, nobody knew of Iron Man.
that is true. I
It
I will
worked for
say,
Marvel.
well, sort of. I mean, they still can't get Spider-Man fully back, right? But
No.
this isn't like Marvel selling their characters to Fox and Sony. This would be as if Marvel sold their characters to DC.
That's fair. Yes. Yes.
Hey, can we have our characters back? No, but you're a direct competitor. Yep, shouldn't have sold them to us.
Wow. It sucks to be you. Did you know so Spider-Man, what's the latest one? Far From Home?
No Way Home,
No Way Home. Thank you.
the one you've seen, the one I haven't
The
seen, the
one,
one you've seen.
yes. Yes.
Just
No
to be clear,
spoilers. No
just
spoilers.
just to be clear, you're
Sorry.
the anyway. Yes,
Yeah. Um, when it does hit a streaming service, do you know which streaming service it's going to hit?
yeah, it's going. It's not going to hit Disney Plus. It
It's
is.
not. That's correct.
Is it going to hit Netflix first for the first pay window?
First pay window is Stars.
Stars, yes.
And then Netflix, and then eventually maybe Disney Plus. But certainly not until like 2026.
Yeah, apparently unwinding some of these deals is going to take a few years.
Oh boy, yuck.
You know what? We're gonna sell it to these yahoos that want to buy internet streaming rights. Who would ever want? I see.
But not Yahoo. But we're going to sell it to Yahoos, but not the Yahoo you're thinking of. It's different.
Different one. We sent an email to him, but it was hacked, so they never got the offer sheet.
It's not surprising.
Let's see. Other follow up. A couple of weeks ago, you talked about John Madden and how great of a coach he was. That he has he has the highest winning percentage of any NFL coach who's coached more than 100 games. He passed away, and there was the thing with Fox about how great he was and the great, the broadcaster of our generation, and everything else. I again, I didn't watch him as much because my conference was on the other channels, but I will say, listening to football the last couple of weeks, there are some things that Madden started, and I believe they started with him, that still continue, that we need. I don't think he gets credit for. I think he should get blamed for. And one of the things, I can distinctly remember him saying this, and now every announcer says, when they want to talk about a player, instead of saying, this guy goes to the gym and works hard, they always use this phrase one of two ways. Either, here's a guy who, like, you don't need here's a guy. Just say him. Like, well, here's a guy. Or if you want a guy who goes to the gym every day, this is the guy you're going to want. You're like, just like, who walks around going, you know what I need? Who's a guy that can go to the gym anyway? It worked when he did it, but he apparently got that into the head of every single NFL announcer since. And they make it seem as if they start off generic and then get very specifically like, well, here's a guy who married a girl named Lisa. Like, no, just say that it was him. Anyway, thanks, Madden.
Boom.
I see what you did there. 2 weeks ago, we had covered this. We'd covered the disaster that was the Golden Globes and how much money that they were being paid by NBC and all of that.
Several weeks ago, yes.
Yeah. Like a year ago, we discussed all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody, just because everybody wasn't paying attention, the Golden Globes Awards were handed out a couple of 2 weeks ago. And if you're thinking, that wasn't on any network, you're correct. You're thinking, oh, that must have been streaming. Like, I wonder if that was streaming on a service. It was not. I'm wondering if I had to go to Tubi or Crackle or something. You did not. It was not broadcast or streamed at all. And there wasn't even, they didn't even have the stars, or they didn't bring anybody. They basically held basically a press conference without inviting any of the media to just announce the awards that nobody wanted to admit it, that they were really there were some, you didn't even see a whole lot of shows going nominated for 18 Golden Globe. Everybody was like, no, that's fine. The winners did kind of occasionally point out that they may have won a couple, but everybody was pretending that didn't happen. So, yeah.
Did they live tweet it?
That's an excellent question. Where would I go to find that out? Is that on Facebook?
Tumblr.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. And then one more piece of follow-up here. A couple of weeks ago, I think for Idiot of the Week, I discussed how the governor of Missouri called a journalist a hacker because he went to a state website and the website had personal information from everybody, and the person just said view source. Right?
Right.
And I said,
yes.
That's funny, right? It turns out that the FBI did come back and say, that's not hacking. That's literally not hacking. That was, the governor then took that and turned it over to the Missouri Highway Patrol, who then did an investigation and have turned that over to the district attorney, or to the county attorney in that county. And the county attorney has not announced whether or not they will be pressing charges. So the journalist still could be charged with hacking for clicking on a menu in his own web browser. I thought it was funny because, it turns out he's still in legal jeopardy. My bad. I mean, not really. Of the people who made mistakes in this, I'm pretty low on the list, but I did make a mistake, so I wanted to.
So, yes, and this actually may lead us to more idiots, but did you read about what the Iowa Department of Human Services did? Speaking of state agencies screwing up.
I think I read about what they didn't do. which was turn over 400,000 emails.
Well, yes, but do you know why they didn't turn over 400,000 emails? Because they couldn't access them. They changed service providers for the company that encrypts their email. So they encrypted all of their emails for the last 3 years to protect the names and personal private information for investigations and to make sure that nobody could improperly get to them. Then change service providers, and nobody saved the key to unlock those emails. And now they can't comply with any court orders to provide those emails. Well, no, that's not true. They can provide the emails, but it's all just garbage. It's all just garbage text because nobody can unencrypt them. Oops, my bad. Good work.
I also thought I did see in the story that it said that they were working to unencrypt them, is what they told the court. Realistically, if you can unencrypt them, then you shouldn't have paid for the encryption service to begin with. Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what? I bet I know what happened. Again, I mean, I wasn't there. This is not an area of enterprise IT I have directly overseen. I bet here's what happened though. So they turned on their encryption, and then the email person said, "This is pretty important. You know what? I can't lose this key, because if I lose this key, we can't get anything. You know what I should do? I should email it to myself." That's where it is.
You know, we joke about that, about how I know you couldn't get into your email. It's because the password changed. I fixed it. I changed your password for you, and I emailed you the new password.
Yep. Boom. Problem solved.
Yep.
Close the ticket. Another successful ticket taken care of.
Well, and you know what else they could have done?
What's that?
They could have changed all of their passwords to Kenny. So that way all they would have had was Kenny logins.
Oh, yeah.
It's all right.
You know that I could see that the car crash was coming, but I didn't know from which direction.
My wife got me. This is a visual joke, but since we're doing these we're also recording for YouTube that Todd's going to edit. We'll see whether or not any of this publishes. Amy, for my birthday, Amy got me 3 notebooks. The first one
says, "My catalog of dad jokes."
Yes. The second one,
"Brilliant ideas I had while drinking bourbon."
And the third one,
"My list of things my wife was right about."
which I thought was really funny because it's blank. At which point I could then put that dad joke into my book of dad jokes.
What I think would have been even funnier is if, when those arrived, she went in and took out all but one of the pages in my catalog of dad jokes, so they all fit on one page. She then goes, "Brilliant ideas I had while drinking bourbon," and leaves like 5 pages in, and then takes all of the extra pages and puts it into the things my wife was right about, and basically said, "Oh, you're going to need extra pages."
Not wrong. Oh, not wrong. What else we got? More idiots? How many more idiots do we got here? We got a bunch.
We got a bunch. This one kind of goes over into the second type of tech corner that we have.
Okay.
So Okay, this involves international soccer real quick. The African Championship, AFCON, has been going on the last couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
And there was a bit of a problem in the Mali-Tunisia game in the match. So the Zimbabwean official who was overseeing this. Now, a proper football match is 90 minutes long. 90 minutes. 9 times. And when it got to 85 minutes, at least 5 minutes short, he blew his whistle that the match was over.
I got reservations.
Yeah, I've seen enough of this crap. So then there was some confusion, and like the coaches are like, "Wait, no, hold on, what?" They all got together. Oh, my bad. I see what I did. My fault. Continue playing. And then he blew it dead 4 minutes later at the 89th minute. And this
the clock was running while they were having that discussion, apparently.
And this time everyone went to the dressing rooms. They cleared the field. And there was still more confusion.
The story I read on this, the fourth referee was in the process of putting up extra time
when the game ended early.
Well, yes. Uh-huh. What?
So at this point, they had the second final whistle of the match that was still early. So Tunisia and Mali both head to the dressing rooms. Tunisia's pissed because they're down 1-0 and didn't have the full match, nor did they have the extra time. After the match, somebody got to the official, and so then they went and they asked the teams to return to the pitch. Hey guys, do you want to come out and play? Mali, who was up 1-0, all came back out. The coach for Tunisia, however, refused. And at first blush, I love this explanation. It turns out there's a very legitimate explanation, but this is what was recorded as to why he refused to come back out. From the coach, quote, "We did not want to resume because our players had already taken their baths." Wait, what? Wait, the rubber duck and like, what goes on there now? Unfortunately, right? Later, it was explained that what he meant was after the match, a number of players had gotten into the cold tub and iced down for recovery purposes. So at that point, they were already cold and they were not going to come back out and risk injury. But I heard that and went, that makes perfect sense. And nobody needs to tell that portion of the story because we can't play because we've taken our baths is a great line. Let's see. Also sports related, Dak Prescott.
So did you see the end of the Niners Cowboys game this week? Playoff game?
I watched it live. Yes. Which included me yelling at the TV, "What are you doing?"
So 14 seconds left and the Cowboys have no timeouts and they run a designed quarterback draw up the middle.
Now, it did catch everybody by surprise because that is a stupid, stupid play that if you don't get exactly right will mean you will end the game without another play and you have no chance of scoring. So from a surprise play, you have to execute that incredibly precisely.
Which they nearly did, but they forgot that the umpire has to actually spot the ball.
Yes, you're not allowed to just put the ball down where you think as the offensive team the ball belongs and start the next play. The official actually has to say, here's where it goes.
And on the live Dallas broadcast, the Dallas commentators were complaining about the official getting in the way and not allowing the Cowboys to snap the ball.
Right. Now, the official was
Which
doing his job. He was doing exactly his job.
What he was supposed to be doing. And had the Dallas players stood up and just given room for him to do what he was supposed to do, they might have actually been able to clock it there. I still don't know why they ran that play, but the official signal end of game and run off the field, and the fans start throwing water bottles and other garbage at the officials as they're running off.
Yes.
One, those same Dallas commentators, oh, now the fans are throwing garbage at the officials. Stay classy, Dallas. Live on the air. Stay classy, Dallas. But the reason Dak Prescott got the nod for Idiot of the Week was because in his post-game press conference, even after all of that, somebody told him about them throwing garbage on the field. Oh, that's not right. And then they clarified that they were actually throwing the garbage at the officials. And his comments were, oh, well, then that's all right. Again,
he
stay
did that
classy,
multiple.
Dallas.
He did that multiple times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, double down on it. But I have to say, as long as we're talking about things being thrown on the field,
Yes.
nobody can touch the Bills Mafia. Did you see this?
No, I did not. They didn't throw a broken table on the field, did they?
No, they threw a dildo. Stiff competition?
I'm more thinking, if you ain't classy, you don't got to stay classy.
That's fair. That's fair. What else we got on here?
Last one. A couple of these we're going to roll over because we're going long here just on the idiots. But this one's a little timely, and I think this is gonna this is gonna get this is gonna hit close to home for you. So, we watch some YouTubers. We watch a couple. We watch a number of some YouTubers that do RVing. And so we watched them before we bought our RV to kind of learn what we needed to know and everything. We still watched them, and they, they're YouTube RVers. They live in their RV. They drive around the country, blah, blah, blah. Over the last year, they had to make some changes because of these unprecedented times. They were going to go to Canada last year, and they couldn't go into Canada, so they went up to Maine or whatever. And one of the things that we noticed, none of our business, but one of the things that we noticed was they took, over the last 2 years, according to their videos, they took what I would say is the least amount of COVID precautions you were required by law to take. They were traveling around the country. They talked about getting tested when they went into states that required to be tested. They wore masks when the government mandated them to wear masks. But if the government didn't mandate them to wear masks, there were no masks. They were shooting videos, whatever. You do you. I'm just here for entertainment. The last video that we watched Sunday night, we're on the couch, Sunday night, their video releases, we're watching it. And they explained, man, the last couple of weeks has been kind of wild because they kind of, they have videos in the can. So they, we kind of got caught up a little bit. What they said was, they're like,
they have videos in the can? What kind of videos are you watching?
Well, you got to pay for YouTube Premium for that. No. So they, they're weeks ahead, right? So if something happens,
okay, they have them. Okay,
they have them ready to go. And then they said, "Boy, the last couple of weeks has been that you guys haven't seen on camera has been just wild, and we're just going to give you a quick little update." And they had some video, and they're like, so they were in Texas. And they've decided for reasons they needed to go. They flew to Florida somewhere near the end of the year. So they showed a picture of them flying to Florida. And then they did what they needed to do there. And then they showed pictures of them meeting up with their friends in a restaurant, in a packed restaurant in Florida around January 1st. Nobody wearing masks, nothing, because no rules, whatever. And they said it was great. We saw our friends, we got our business done, and we got on the plane and we flew back here. And then the guy who's saying this says, and then I came down with a really bad cold, which then I promptly gave to my wife, and she promptly gave it to our son. And Lisa on the couch, she gets on me because I yell at NFL referees and coaches. This is, as he says, I got a really bad cold. She yells, "It's COVID." You got COVID. You went to Florida in the height of the Omicron. You were indoors in a heavily packed thing. You saw your friends, and then you got a really bad cold that you immediately passed to everybody else that you're near. And you just say, I got this really bad cold out of nowhere. Lisa's just like, look, they can do whatever they want to do, but you got COVID.
You remember the story about you picking up the remote control and pushing the off switch and never watching 24 again?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you unsubscribe from a YouTube channel?
I think you unring a bell, I think is how you do
Is that I can't unring that bell.
It was just great though, watching Lisa yell at the TV in ways that only I usually do. So anyway, so there's some of our idiots of the week. We've got plenty more we'll get to. I do have one more thing in main topics that I would like to cover because I think this will be kind of short. Can you see what the second item in our main topics for this week is?
What country is our stadium in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Tales from the United Kingdom football. So, in Chester, in England, in the United Kingdom, they have a football team. The football team is Chester FC, Chester Football Club. They've been having a bit of a problem figuring out what they can do to host their home matches. Because the stadium, the entrance to the stadium, the turnstiles are in England. But once you pass the turnstiles and go under the bleachers to get into the stadium, the pitch and most of the stands are in Wales.
Really?
England, at the time this story came out, which was about a week ago, England said you could be at 50% capacity for outdoor events. Wales said you can have no fans. And Chester FC said, what do we do? And nobody can figure it out. Because England said, I don't know, when you take the tickets, that's the admission. You must follow our rules. And Wales said, but when you sit in the stadium, you must follow our rules.
And you can't sit in the stadium. So
right. And nobody can sit in the stadium.
You could go to that 1/8 of the stadium that happens to be on that side of England, and then half of those seats are available. If you are lucky enough to have a seat in that area, first come, first serve.
Well, apparently, or the other thing they could do is they could allow 50% of capacity to come through the turnstile and then turn around and immediately exit. We can take your ticket, but now you must please leave.
So you know how to take the reservation, but you don't know how to keep the reservation, which is the most important part of the reservation. Oh, sweet Lord.
Yeah. So So at some point, literally, I'm assuming in the boardroom, somebody just had to yell, "What country is our stadium in?"
How many countries are in this country?
4.
4. Oh. So what are you watching? What are you watching this week?
So we watched this weekend. We watched the Eternals, or not the Eternals. We watched Eternals. I think I don't not clear on the anyway on Disney Plus. Yeah. It was a show that was on in our house. The rating the rating system. I don't know how you would capture this, but after it ended, and then you watch the post credits, and then the post credit scene. Lisa and I look at each other, and we're just quiet for just a minute, and then she says, "If you weren't here, I would have turned that crap off halfway through." I'm like, well, yeah. And then, because it's a Marvel movie, I then had to go and spend the next 45 minutes Googling what the hell just happened? Who the hell is that? What happened in the mid-credits scene? What happened in the final credit scene? How does any of this tie in? And then get lost down a rabbit hole of, well, this is really interesting. In 1962, Marvel had a character that appeared in only one comic book who has now got a 6-picture deal. Like, oh my, anyway. So we watched that. You know what? If you liked it, great. I think we enjoyed Shang-Chi much better. That was a much more fun movie. It looks like you guys also watched it. So this is where Dewayne goes, it was the best movie I saw this year. I don't know what you're talking about, Todd.
So, Amy and I, because we were quarantining from each other for the last week, we watched it separately. The thing at the end was Blade, which you probably know from Google at this point, which has nothing at this point to do with the MCU. So, fine. The fact that they explained away 7,000 years of inaction with somebody told me to do this.
I don't know. Somebody just told me.
Right. Fine. I also say, in regard to this movie, you have broken me, because one of the characters' names was Ajax, and I kept going, isn't that Ajax? So
There
there's
you go.
that. I'm totally broken. I'm totally broken at this point. I'm like, what the hell? Fine. So there's that. What else you got?
So we did start watching. We watched the first 2 episodes of Station 11 on HBO Max. That's based on a book that Lisa read 5 or 6 years ago, just enough that she remembers reading the book. But I'm like, so what happens here? She's like, I don't know. I read a lot of books. I don't know that we're going to get back to the rest of it. What I will tell you is, because it's a little raw, just the premise. The entire first episode takes place over a couple of hours. Well, a worldwide pandemic breaks out and sweeps through the world, and this is a post-apocalyptic show, but the first episode is sort of the fear and panic taking over Chicago as a pandemic rips through it. And a little bit of that's like, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. Anyway, so there's that. We're watching. I don't know. We may keep watching.
I thought you were going to say 2 guys watching a basketball game, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's not plausible. And then we were also, this is a follow-up. I mean, who would be that stupid?
My idiot husband and his friend.
You know what? I was fine with it until the morons went to the basketball arena in the middle of the pandemic, and I said, that's like the mountains in eastern Iowa. And I clicked and I turned it off, and I never went back. Just lazy writing. based on your recommendation from a couple of weeks ago, we went and watched Freedom Love Supreme.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Freedom. We watched Freestyle Love Supreme. Freedom Love Supreme. I don't know. That's a whole different thing. I think that's on OAN. Anyway, Freestyle Love Supreme is the one that we watched. What you told me it was, and then we watched it. I thought it was going to be something else, and yet watching it, boy, that's really it's a good it's interesting. It's to see them over 15 years and do all of this
Right.
and the importance and everything. I will say at one point there's some interesting things in this, right?
Documentary. Yes.
It's a documentary, and it's following Lin Manuel Miranda and his in a group that he was a part of before In the Heights, before Hamilton, and what they were doing, and then what they've continued to do. And I mean, there's just some interesting things about the piece about that one of the that they basically wrote the Aaron Burr character for one of the members of that group,
Mm-hmm.
and because of things that he was dealing with, he couldn't do that. Like, you could have been Aaron. Oh my, oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
that for somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
dealing with that would be hard to deal with the other things. And also to see that some of them had been together since third grade and how much this group still stays together. And at one point, Lisa goes, "This is amazing." She goes, "Do you know anybody who's still working with, like, who's still like in that much contact and is working with a person that they knew from the third grade?" And I turned to her and just slowly raised my hand. And she goes, "Yeah, but besides you two, that's impressive." Yeah. You two, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 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 And kindergarten for the record, but fine.
Yeah. But didn't get around to waiting till third grade. I mean, come on. And then the last thing I will say is Monday night football, they had the world premiere of the Moon Knight trailer, which is
Yeah.
another show. It's a show coming out from Marvel, I think, on Disney Plus.
Yes.
What I will tell you is, now I've just had a bad experience with Eternals, and I'm like, Moon Knight. It's an interesting name. And then we were on YouTube and we watched the 2-minute trailer. I was more interested in watching the show before I watched the trailer than I was after watching 2 minutes of the trailer, and went, that made me want to watch this at all. Like, so, I mean, if you want to, but I think they saved me some time.
I'll probably watch it. Did you guys watch Hawkeye yet?
No. We got 3 episodes into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then bailed on that one, and then watched the first episode of Loki and felt like that was a college physics class. Like, we got to pay, like we both said, we got to watch this again because we got to pay a lot closer attention. Like, you have
You
to
should.
follow this. This is like homework.
Yeah. Of all of these limited series that they have done, my favorite at this point is Hawkeye.
Okay. All right.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, we may get to it. We may not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Lisa's got some travel coming up, so who knows? Maybe I'll get to it. How about you? So you watched Eternals. What else have you watched?
I am still watching Monk. There are 8 seasons of Monk. The theme song in season 1 was this jazzy piano thing. And then Monk got popular in season 1 and people kind of got on the bandwagon. And for season 2, there was this Randy Newman song. And for season 2 through 8, there was a Randy Newman song that was the theme. And he wrote it specifically for the show because he loved the show. And about 2/3 of the way through season 2, they did an episode about where Monk, he visits a fictional TV detective, an actor who's playing a detective on TV. And the detective has these fans, and the fans are rabid and blah, blah, blah. And one of the fans goes on this rant about how they changed the theme on this TV show and how awful it is. And it's this running gag through the entire episode. And then at the end, they played the original theme as the outro. But oh my god, and the rabid fan was Sarah Silverman. The guests that they got on this show over the run, just over and over and over. Nick Offerman, like I said, Sarah Silverman. I mean, it's just people you have seen in so much stuff. Tim Curry was in an episode. Just every episode is a fantastic actor upon fantastic actor again and again and again. And then some actors that young in their careers, because this was 15 years ago now. I don't know. Anyway, I'm enjoying rewatching Monk. I know it's old, but it's kind of comfort food. And I watched the first episode tonight of How I Met Your Father. It's a pilot. I'm going to see where it goes. Jury's still out.
They spent a lot of time calling the other characters by their name repeatedly if it's a pilot. Right, Dewayne?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did, Todd.
Thanks, Dewayne.
Yes, they did.
That's good that you told me that, Dewayne.
I'm glad you cleared that up, Todd, because I was a little confused. Todd, did you learn anything this week?
You bet, Dewayne.
What was the pilot? Was it Firefly? Was it the pilot of Firefly where I think it was Alan Tudyk looks at one of the other characters and he's like, yeah, I can't remember her name. It's always so confusing when you first meet someone. In the pilot. That's fantastic. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you learn anything?
Yeah. So this falls under the content that we were asked to give about space news, and filed under technology is amazing and disappointing at the same time. Earlier this week, there was going to be a rocket sent to space from Virgin Galactic, and they didn't have people in it or anything like that. They have a 747 that they take off from Southern California, and they fly out over out past the Catalina Islands, and then they get up to about 35,000 feet, and then they drop a rocket from its wing, and then it ignites, and then it goes to space. And I'm sitting here, I see this, and you can go on YouTube, and they've got people commentating about what's going to happen, and they've got a track of here's where the airplane is, and if you have flight radar on your phone that you can use to track, planes, you can actually see the plane flying out, and I was sitting here thinking, this is amazing, right? Like this is another private rocket company. It's not SpaceX, it's not Blue Origin. This is another private rocket company that is going to be firing a rocket off just in the middle of the day. And I can watch this live on YouTube with telemetry and images. And we just take this crap for granted. Like, this is amazing. And then I'm watching this, and then the telemetry gets a little weird, wait, the countdown has stopped. It's no longer going down, but it's not going up either. And the person is talking, but they're not talking about the launch. And there's no video of this at all. It's just a picture. It's a graphic of an airplane flying in circles. And all of a sudden, then I look at the telemetry, and now the rocket is going like 500 miles an hour and is going up. And about a minute into this, the commentator says, "Oh, and as you heard, we had a successful launch." And I went from being amazed to thinking about, I've watched a number of SpaceX launches, and they have live video and they have a commentator, and they're like, this is what's happening now. And they have a thing at the bottom of the screen that tells you, this is what's going to happen here. And you can see exactly. And they're like, okay, and then here's the liftoff. And they have, SpaceX has cameras on the first stage. When it separates, the second stage has a camera to watch the first stage falling. They have cameras on the first stage. When it lands on the drone ship, there's a camera on the rocket that shows it landing, and a camera on the drone ship in the middle of the Atlantic that you can watch all of that live, and the commentators tell you what's happening. And I was watching this Virgin one, and I went from going, this is amazing, look what I can do, to, you guys are really phoning this crap in. Come on, you got to step up your game. What are you like? You're broadcasting live on YouTube, and there's not even a live video of the rocket from the 747 that's going. Like, what are you even do? Is this even a launch if I can't watch it live on YouTube? So in the span of 45 minutes, I went from, my goodness, the modern world is amazing, to, you guys suck. Come on, step it up. Use some technology. That was a weird hour for me. I got to be honest. It was weird. I was disappointed in a rocket launch that I couldn't watch it live on my computer.
Oh.
Yeah. How about you? What'd you learn this week?
I learned that the Michigan DOT names their snowplows.
Okay.
Did you know this?
I did not. I can't imagine that there's enough names in the world to cover all of the Michigan snowplows.
I mean, and it's not like, they have one truck and they name it truck number 7, like the Ames Trib, right?
Right.
No. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are really boring. Snow Force 1, Old Blue, the Huron Hero. These are the unimaginative ones.
Earl.
The Blizzard Boss. Blizzard T Snowplow. They gave it a middle initial. Catch My Drift. Dr. Plowgood. Melton John. Frosty. They named one Frosty the Snowplow. Edgar Allan Snow. Dolly Plowton.
Is there a Plowdy McPlowface?
I do not see Plowy McPlowface on the list. Austin Plowers. Saul T. Streets. Another middle initial. Snow Diggity.
I like the way you move it. Snow Diggity. Snow Diggity.
And it goes on and on and on. Frostin' Powers, Optimus Plow, the Scrape Gatsby. Anyway, I did not know before, but the Michigan snow and ice trucks, the guys have a sense of humor up there, so I enjoyed that. Music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. It's available on incompetech.com under a Creative Commons Attribution License. You can subscribe to Talking to Todd on Overcast or Apple Podcast or Spotify, wherever you get your pods. You can tweet us on Facebook. You can check out our 2-time award-winning merch on Zazzle. You can leave us a voicemail at 515 also CPA. It's 515-257-6272. Thanks again for the support for the editing of this podcast, which was brought to you by Toddlers 3187 and number 17. And stop by and see us at the Tuba City Home Office. Please don't do that. You can learn more on our website, talkingtotodd.com. And you can always send us your feedback at talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
So I was just looking. I found stayclassydallas.blogspot.com. It's from a guy named Matt, who wants you to know that the music on this site is for sampling purposes only. And if you own a file that I've linked to and want it removed, let me know. If you'd like for me to feature your band, email me at stayclassydallas@gmail.com. The first post of this site was in July of 2005, which looks like it started with Jamie Foxx is an idiot. And the final posting of this was in March 26th of 2009, and has a picture of a friend of theirs at a birthday celebration. Um, so yeah, I guess this is what the radio announcers wanted people to do.
Stay
Go to a
classy,
blog.
Dallas.
Go to a blog from 2009 and maybe rip off some music. Sounds about right. Ooh, hey, they got some stuff I can download.
Don't. Should I click on that?
I'm sure it's fine.
We're going to need to cover that next week in Tech Corner. I'm sure we'll have more. Stop back next week. We'll be around next week for our 100th episode. I can't believe I'm saying that. Our 100th episode next week, right here on Talking to Todd. Okay, so with the first pick, I'm going to take Ken Jennings.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, you're up. Clock's ticking. This is, by the way, this is an auction draft. I just got Jennings for $1. You should have been at rehearsal.
Seriously, what the heck are you talking about?
This Fantasy Jeopardy. See, last week Jeopardy released advanced stats on champions, and now they're publishing. Can't believe I'm saying this. They're publishing daily box scores for games. So what I'm thinking we need to do is start a fantasy Jeopardy league.
Sure. You know what? I'm in. Kevin, I'll take stupid ideas for 1,000.
The answer is this long-running show recently had a foul-mouthed, greasy-haired quarterback as guest hosts.
Oh, buzz.
Do you actually know that on Jeopardy they don't buzz? They just hit the clicker. There's no buzz. There's no sound.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
Yes, Todd?
What is the Manning cast?
Oh, so close.